Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Grab a coffee and settle in, because today we are venturing into the absolute new frontier of alternative investment tools. We're going to push way beyond basic financial literacy and take a hard look at how modern portfolios are literally being restructured from the ground up. The best part? We'll see how everyday folks like you and me are finally getting access to asset classes that used to be locked tightly behind Wall Street's closed doors. So, let me ask you a quick question. Is your traditional investment portfolio kind of stuck in the past? You know the old standard advice, right? Just set and forget in stocks and bonds. Well, that old playbook is really being challenged these days. With inflation jumping around and market dynamics shifting constantly, that classic standard asset allocation definitely needs a modern update. So consider this your personal, guided tour of this brand new investing landscape. My goal here is to help you easily navigate this space without all the mind-numbing jargon. We're going to look at how ordinary investors are now wielding powerful alternative investment tools that honestly used to be strictly VIP only. To put this into perspective, just look at what the massive institutions are doing. Heavyweights like BlackRock are fundamentally shifting their game plans. They're actually moving away from that classic 60-40 portfolio we've all heard about. Instead, they're carving it up like this: 50% to stocks, 30% to bonds, and reserving a solid 20% specifically for alternative investments. Why? Because it acts as a powerful built-in hedge against unexpected inflation. All right, let's dive into Section 1, Beyond Stocks and Bonds. I really love how the Mekita Investment Group puts this. They say that investing in hedge funds, or really any alternative, is totally akin to playing sports. Think about it. If someone tells you they play sports, your immediate follow-up is, well, which one? Basketball? Skiing? Alternative investments are exactly the same thing. It's just a broad umbrella term for a whole bunch of completely distinct asset classes. There isn't just one scary alternative out there. So, what's a major sport in this category? Commodities. Here's why this matters to you. When completely unexpected inflation hits, the kind the market definitely hasn't priced in, your traditional stocks and bonds usually take a beating. But physical assets, things like natural gas or agricultural products moving around the world, they've historically outperformed. They literally serve as a shield to protect your hard-earned purchasing power.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Alternative Asset Toolkit. Let's take a stroll through what's actually available to us right now.
First up in the toolkit is P2P, or peer-to-peer lending. This is brilliant because it completely cuts out traditional banks. It allows you to lend your money directly to other individuals or small businesses. Think of it as deploying your leftover savings month by month, like your own little army of dollars or euros, to build a steady, passive income stream right from the interest they pay you back.
Then, of course, there's real estate. To give you an idea of the sheer scale we're talking about here, the U.S. real estate market alone is estimated at a staggering $4 trillion. Historically, you would have needed hundreds of thousands in capital just for a down payment to even sit at the table. But today, wow, the rules of the game have completely changed.
And that leads perfectly into Section 3, liquid alts and retail apps. This is where modern tech is blowing the gates wide open. Look, traditional hedge funds are notoriously exclusive. We're talking extremely high minimums like $1 million, locking your money up for years, and frankly, operating with way less regulatory oversight. But today's liquid alternatives and retail apps totally flip that script. They offer entry points as low as $500, provide way higher liquidity so you can actually access your cash, and they operate under much stricter regulation. It's a total game changer for access.
Let's look at a few popular platforms leading this charge. You've got Yield Street for private credit, Arrived Homes for fractional real estate, and Masterworks for fine art. The beauty here is that you no longer have to buy a whole skyscraper or drop millions on a painting. By mixing and matching these apps, you can easily bundle different assets to diversify, generate passive income, and hopefully see some nice appreciation over time.
Okay, moving to Section 4, beware of dark patterns. Because honestly, any good guide needs to point out the potholes on the road ahead.
You really need to watch out for something called dark patterns. These are sneaky user interface design choices that subtly coerce, steer, or literally deceive users into making unintended and potentially harmful financial decisions. Regulators are really cracking down on this because some investing apps use these hidden tricks and confusing layouts to benefit themselves completely at the expense of a beginner investor.
Here is a perfect example. A simple, just listed mobile notification that practically screams at you to trade immediately. What's super insidious about this is that it deliberately removes friction. It skips crucial processing steps just to manufacture a false sense of urgency, practically shoving you into a trade before you've even had a second to think it through or do your research.
And then there's gamification, a totally common trap. You'll see these brightly colored screens flashing trending crypto stats right next to this massive, unmissable trade button. This is specifically designed to trigger your fast-thinking brain. It steers new investors straight toward dangerous under-diversification, leading to frequent trading, racked-up transaction costs, and totally misaligned risk. Definitely be on the lookout for that.
All right, let's bring it home with Section 5, Building Your Smart Strategy. How do we actually put all this financial literacy into practice safely?
Whenever you evaluate a new alternative investment platform, you absolutely must assess these 4 key pillars. First, the minimum investment, so you know exactly what upfront capital is required. Second, the fee structure. You've got to avoid those hidden management costs. Third, liquidity terms, meaning you need to know exactly when and how you can withdraw your money. And fourth, transparency. Look for crystal clear reporting. Honestly, mastering these 4 pillars is the ultimate test of your modern financial literacy.
And here's your golden rule for mitigating risk, especially when you're just starting out: 10 to 15%. Experts generally agree that you should strictly limit your exposure to alternative investments to no more than 10 to 15% of your total overall portfolio. Just stick to that cap until you are completely comfortable with how these assets behave and their specific liquidity profiles.
So, let's pull all of this together into a super simple, actionable roadmap. Step 1. Define your objective. Ask yourself, are you looking for monthly income or long-term growth? Step 2. Verify their regulatory status and scrutinize those fee schedules so you can completely bypass those dark patterns we talked about. And Step 3. Start small. Always test a platform's minimum investment before scaling up. And please, always diversify.
So, now that the institutional gates are finally wide open and these tools are sitting right there in your hands, which alternative fits your future? Will it be a digital share of a blue-chip piece of art, or maybe a fraction of a towering skyscraper? Take your time, do your research, and execute your strategy. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really look forward to exploring more fascinating topics with you next time.